Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Before I get into this review of the third and second issue, which I can't show you, of Hell Her Way, I wanted to give everybody an update on the SJS Direct 2026 catalog. Now, I've been hard at work putting together the stories of the SJS 2026 catalog in the aftermath of the heart attack I had in July, and all three of the books for the year are basically ready to go. And all I'm waiting for now are for artists to basically get back to me with the covers and the interior art for those books, and I hope to have those books up for pre-order sooner rather than later. And as I've been getting those books ready, I've also been working on another Isis flashback book that will take place in 1910 and chronicle Isis's return to the world. And this was a story I had a lot of fun writing. Just had a blast writing the story. I haven't had this much fun writing a story in years, and I can't wait to share that story with you after I finally get it into production. Now, as the year ends, I have the SJS Direct 2025 books out now, and you can pick up Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer, John Haynes A Thorn in My Side, or Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl right now for the holidays, and get a great gift for your friend, for yourself or family members on Amazon.com in paperback or Kindle format. And I'll have a link to that in the description box. You can check those books out there. And with that perfunctory now out of the way, I'll get into this review of Hell Her Way number 3. Now, Hell Her Way number 3 basically continues the story of Hell Her Way, which chronicles a female Satan who's basically in a Sex in the City type premise. And this comic, the first issue, was absolutely fantastic and basically blew me away with its whole concept as related to presenting this lady Satan basically trying to run hell and finding it becoming complete chaos. But something really happened between issues 1, and I can't show you issue 2 because it basically, the nudity is so, again, outrageous. I can't really show it even with the sticker. Again, it's just too extreme. But something happened between the first and second issues that happens to a lot of writers. And what happened with this book basically is they started out with a strong first issue that left a strong impression on the reader and had you looking eagerly to read more. Unfortunately, what happened in the second and third issues is what happens to many premises, in that the entire story sadly winds up falling completely apart. And not only does the story fall completely apart with the writing, but also the art falls apart as well. I mean, if we look at the art here in this first issue, it really just pops. I mean, the artist Carl Cervejo, he does an amazing job on this first issue, where the art really just pops and comes to life and is really dynamic with what I can show you. I mean, this first issue, I mean, look at the coloring and look at the artwork, just really pops and comes to life. But when we get to this third issue, I mean, there is a major, downgrade as related to the art, and that's one of the issues I have with this comic, is the just major downgrade as related to the overall art in this book. I mean, it doesn't have that richness of color or dynamism from this new artist that the writer, Tim Guest, wound up hiring. I mean, Roberto Hamaillo, he does a satisfactory job, but things get lost in translation. I mean, his style of art doesn't feel as good as the other art, and the entire story for the book basically falls off in the exact same way as related to the second issue. The second issue again, can't really show too much of it because, again, the nudity, again, is extreme. And again, this is a family channel, so can't really show much in that second issue. But the second issue is where we start to have the problems as related to the structure of this story. Now, in the first issue, we get introduced to Satan and her looking to, again, look to run hell, and was supposed to be run to the standard of this trinity of figures, and it's supposed to be run to their standard, and it's supposed to be run again as a crappy place. Unfortunately, what the character decides to do is decides to start doing good deeds, which runs counter to what Satan is all about, and loses her horns. And sadly, when Satan loses her horns, sadly she winds up losing the plot of her own story. And as she loses the plot of her own story, sadly the story in this book starts to fall apart, really just starts to fall completely apart over the course of the second and especially the third issue. I mean, it just basically becomes where we don't get any of the substance of the first issue. No, what we get in this third issue is a lot of, again, nudity and sex just to try to cover up the lack of storytelling, and that doesn't really hold the story strong. Again, if we want, and this whole story of, again, Satan trying to build hell into something just falls completely apart, and it falls completely apart because it runs counter to things. Now, I know that according to religion, Satan wanted to be like God and create his own empire, but this whole thing just, again, structures just really aren't really there. Everything just falls completely apart structurally, and what we're left with this comic is a comic that basically has some serious, again, structural issues as related to its story, and characters that are there just to, again, participate in sex scenes, but not really be substantive as related to story. And as I read this comic, it really made me appreciate one of my Facebook friends, Corey Hardiman, and his Sister Mercy comics. I mean, with Sister Mercy, yeah, you do get nudity and you do get these adult scenes, but with Corey, he knows how to put substance to those scenes, like with his legendary comic, Sister Mercy Kiss the Lotus Blossom. I mean, Kiss the Lotus Blossom had great substance as related to showing how evil this Asian woman was who was out here with this Lotus Blossom. But as we saw those adult situations, again, it added to the story and added to the darkness of her character. But sadly, with this version of Satan, we really don't get to see that substance as related to her. I mean, when it comes down to the devil, we don't really know if she cares about people as related to things. That's what we're told on the surface, but again, there's not enough substance as related to the story, and that's where Hell Her Way just goes off the road of being a good comic, and again falls into the pattern many writers fall into when they try to go out here and rush a story. One of the mistakes that a lot of writers do is after they do their first issue, they think they have to rush to do the second issue, but no, it's better to, again, wait until you get a solid concept before you do the second issue, and it's better to wait, because if you wait, you can go out here and put together a much more solid structured story, and that much more structured story can be something that's compelling than something that's rushed out. That's something I learned when I was first doing the ISIS series back in 2012. I wanted to do 4 books a year, but as I started to see my quality not really being at a high standard after I did Amari's Revenge and The Ultimate Fight, and then when I was in 2013, I was trying to do The Beauty Myth and My Sister, My Frenemy, I started seeing where I was rushing the story for My Sister, My Frenemy, and again, there was a lot of typos, and the story really, it was a good concept, but the whole thing is I was rushing it too fast, and that's when I decided to slow it down. Instead of trying to do a quarterly schedule, instead I did an annual schedule, and it's okay to, again, go off the schedule, even if you have to take 1.5, 2 years to do something. it's better to wait and not go out here and rush a book out, because the last thing you want to do is go out here and rush a book out and lead to a person having a bad reading experience, because again, you only get one chance with each issue to make a first impression. And if we start to see that the books are declining in quality, again, you may get the person for the first issue, but you're not going to get them to stay for the entire run. And I don't know if I want to keep going Hell Her Way. No, I don't think I really want to go any further, because the story is starting to fall into weak and predictable plot tropes, and the character development has really fallen off in the second and the third issue, and we've got a lot of flash, but not a lot of substance. And again, can't really show too much of this book because it's too hot for YouTube, just absolutely too hot for YouTube. That's why I'm not opening the comic up. That, and I want to try to respect the creators of this book, want to show them some respect, but I don't know if I want to keep going this way with Hell Her Way, because while the book again has sexy women, there's no substance to them, and you need to have substance when you're doing stories. I mean, there was a great premise here as related to Satan meets sex in the city, but sadly there's too much sex and not enough substance, and that's where I have to part ways with Hell Her Way as a comic, and possibly won't be back for that fourth issue. Now, if you want to check out my books on the SJS Direct Universe, which feature attractive black women, you can check out the books like Spinsterella, Goth Girl Summer, the ISIS series, the Esteem series, and other books I've done, like The Thetas and A Recipe for Success. You can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them in digital format at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And you can also find my books at big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to help me be able to continue supporting great independent comic creators and helping to get their exposure for their books, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App, so I can continue buying more independent comics and supporting independent creators and helping to get the word out about their books. That's all I have to say there for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS: Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS: Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other two books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online booksellers everywhere today. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Vampires Stalk the Darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.